the teaching faculty, and all the participants present here. Compliments of the season to everyone. SPCA welcomes each and everyone to yet another session on the topic Building Chatbots Using RASA by Mr. Shaurya Kuchal sir. This session is going to be different in terms of knowledge, of course, but also that we have audience irrespective of different colleges today. So this is our very first intra-college event and we are super happy about the response that we have received. For those of you all who are not from St. John College, we, the SPCA team, happily welcome you all. SPCA, that is Sophisticated and Perpetual Coders Association, is under the Computer Engineering Department of St. John College of Engineering and Management, Palghar. And it is of the students, for the students, and by the students initiative. We organize webinars, hands-on sessions on various topics related to vivid domains of IT for some extra exposure for students who are keen. Before commencing any event, we would first like to know about the resource person of today. And to do the honors, I would now like to call upon the faculty coordinator of SPCA, Mr. Vivian Lobo sir, to brief us about our today's resource person.
Thank you, Dinah. I hope I'm audible. So,
Yes,
good evening, all the participants, and thank you so much for joining this evening session. That is a hands-on session on building chatbots using RASA. First of all, I would like to wish compliments of the season as we are coming to an end of the year 2020 and will be beginning the year 2021. So I hope you all are having a good time and you all are taking good care of yourselves during this pandemic. So coming to the speaker, we have got a very eminent speaker today and the resource person for today's session, that is Mr. Shaurya Kaushal. I'll just give a small brief or gist about his professional summary. So Shaurya is basically a deep learning enthusiast with 3+ years of experience in the development of RNNs, that is recurrent neural networks, CNNs, convolutional neural networks, GAN, which is the most popular network, which is generative adversarial network. A lot of research is going on in this area. And he always aims to deliver end-to-end business solutions with the help of open stack technologies. So currently, Shaurya is working as a manager for insights and analytics under artificial intelligence in one of the renowned organizations, that is Mahindra and Mahindra. He has got a vast experience in the field of designing chatbots. And because of this, we requested him to take a hands-on session so that all you young budding engineers may get exposure as to how chatbots are important and how they have made our life very simple and easy with the help of artificial intelligence. A lot of task has now become hassle-free because of the chatbots. So one such glimpse we would see how chatbots could be with the help of in the mail. We had sent a link to already download the RASA. If participants haven't, I request them to quickly download it so that the hands-on session takes place in a smoother manner. So without much ado, I'll hand it over to Mr. Shaurya. Hello, Shaurya.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. I'll just start with a quick intro about RASA and about chatbots, and then we'll go into the core of the development also. Okay. Professor, is my screen visible?
Yes, Shaurya, it is visible.
Okay. Okay. So, hi everyone. Greetings of the season to everyone. Thank you for joining today. So today we'll be taking a step-by-step guide on building simple chatbots on RASA, with an aim of building a simple news chatbot towards the end of the session. So, and this will be available if all goes through within time. This should be available on Telegram, and you can host it on your laptop itself. There will be no licensing or development cost involved whatsoever for this. So you can host it for your personal and academic projects also. Okay. So these are the topics that we'll be covering. What exactly is RASA? For people who have not much experience into development of chatbot, we'll be covering key terms of chatbots, some overview of architectures. I have not put in any diagrams to keep the simplicity intact, and then we'll start building the chatbot. I hope, like Professor has asked, please keep RASA installed and ready on your systems. In case anyone has only installed it, I'll start from how you can initialize RASA. So from that part I'll start. I'll skip the installation part, and then we'll start after building the RASA chatbot. We'll start with integration into different channels, and how you can train it even better, how it is being trained into production systems, uh, what are the applications of chatbots. They are not just chatbots for one-to-one conversations. There are many more things that are happening, and then we'll conclude with today's session. If anyone has any queries anytime during the session, please feel free to raise hand or post any query in the chat section of this. So Rasa is like an open source framework which enables chatbot building very smooth and easy. Uh, it allows chatbot building for beginners as well as very complex and composite chatbots can also be built. Many companies are using Rasa in production environment on their live systems to interact with their customers, with their employees, with their systems as a whole. One of the main advantages of RASA is that we can build RASA chatbots completely open source. So we know the codes, what happened. We have an answer to why it is replying, why is the response coming in a specific manner. And RASA chatbots work offline. So unlike Dialogflow or Watson AI, Watson bots, the RASA chatbots can work completely offline. They can be deployed on your phone to run locally. They can work online to integrate with multiple channels. They have a huge possibility, huge connections available. So in a way, you can run RASA chatbot from Raspberry Pi, Arduino board to SAP SaaS systems. You can run it from Python, JavaScript, anything. So it is like a function call, an API call, and you can have it anywhere. Apart from the offline feature, it also offers an interactive learning, which I'll be covering towards the end of this session. Uh, Different ML pipelines are there, and RASA as a whole is a very scalable solution. So ML pipelines I'll be going through when we go in the codes. I'll show you what all things are there. We'll work around on each and every file, and let's see how it goes. Okay. So just before we start, so I've just added about 7 terms which I think are very important for anyone building a chatbot. So utterance, the first one, utterance. When we say utterance, is basically what happens on the UI. Okay, usually it is just the user query because what the chatbot responds to is given as an action. But utterance is anything that happens on UI. So for example, over here, utterance is show me news for Amazon. In our case, it will be a news bot. So I put a custom example. So this is what user has uttered. So anything that you say or the bot says in response is the utterance. Intent is what is the meaning for what is the meaning from the utterance. So any user who is saying show me news for Amazon, The intent is he wants to do a news search. So meaning of the query becomes intent. Entity is the actionable part of the utterance. So even if you remove show, me, and for from the user query, the parts that remain are news and Amazon. If think of chatbot like a program, like a very simple menu-driven program, you have if you have two variables, if you have query variables, if you want to do any SQL program, then you have to define certain columns, certain filters. So these entities form those part. So you can set, okay, I want to check into a news. Now the R is a small chatbot, so it will only have news as a section. Production environments can have news, it can have databases, it can have user feedbacks and different things. So news can be taken as one part of the filter, and for what you're searching in the news, you're searching for Amazon. So that becomes your second entity. Channels are communication medium. Right now for this webinar, our channel of communication is Google Meet. Similarly, our chatbot can interact locally on localhost. It can interact on RASA shell, it can interact on RASA core, but more importantly, it can also interact with a lot more channels. Slack, Telegram, WhatsApp, Messenger are few, but you also have Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, and so on and so forth. So you can practically integrate RASA chatbots with anything. Also, you can integrate these with Google Assistants, Alexa. You can push RASA on AWS. You can host it on AWS. You can connect it with Alexa, and you can create your own Alexa bot service bot. Same thing can be done with Google Assistant also. You can push it on GCP, and you can host it over there, and you can have it connected back. Okay. Uh, though the last three parts of this slide will not be covering in today's webinar, because we want to do a simple bot, but I still thought we should have an idea about it. So context, what is context? Context is about understanding the theme of the conversation. Let's say if I tell you bank, bank can also mean the place where we keep our money safe. But bank can also mean riverbed, riverside. Bank can also mean trust. So there are various meanings or themes to a word bank. So in chatbots, it is very important to consistently update the context of the conversation. So for example, a user can say that he prefers to have only vegetarian meals, or he prefers to have boiled food, non-spicy food. So if he has mentioned his preferences once, then those contexts should be captured. If the conversation is towards finance domain, then the meaning of bank should be picked up from the finance jargon. It should not be picked up from any other place. So that's how context is important. Adding context is a very difficult task, and this is where a lot of research is also going on. A lot of efforts go into building the context, capturing the correct context of the conversation. Chit chat, any chatbot. I'm sure all of you would have used Google Assistant once in their phone, or Siri in their iPhone. So you will always say, "Hi Siri, do I need an umbrella today? What is the weather today?" These are all value-added conversations. These are the things for which the assistants have been programmed to work. They are adding value to us. But you also often say that, okay, Google, tell me a joke, or what is your age, what is your name. These are all conversations which are not meant to be of action tag, but are a chit chat, classified under chit chat. So these are also good to improve the user experience, or of a chatbot, and they help a lot. Slots are very important. A lot of frameworks use different key terms to these. RASA uses slots. Slots are nothing but contextual storage. So user preferences like I want vegetarian food, once identified by context algorithm, they need to get stored in these slots. A lot of times slots are very easily captured. For example, you can capture username in your slot variable. You can capture user age in your slot variable. Their context does not come into picture. But slots are majorly used or can also be used to store context of a conversation. Okay. Any queries over here if anyone wants to ask, because now we'll be moving towards the development of the chatbot. I just wanted to give a quick introduction. So if these terms are clear, if anyone has any query, please feel free to ask. I'll just pause for 10 seconds.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, and all
Yes.
these participants. We have decided to keep the query session towards the end of the entire session. So all your doubts shall be cleared, but towards the end. So the chat box will be enabled after the session is over. Will that be okay, sir?
Yeah, that works for me, but because this would be a development bot, interactive one, so few queries regarding development could be asked immediately, because that would, then delay the development for chatbot for any participant. If that's okay, development queries I think could be asked. Any extra query we can always take it towards the end also. Okay.
Okay, yeah, chat is enabled now. So any participant, if you're having any doubts, you can ask now. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. So now let's start building the chatbot. Okay. Let me just delete this folder. Okay. So I hope you all have downloaded RASA. Just create a directory name. I'm naming it SPCA for today. And okay. Okay. So now if you can open for Windows. Okay. So I'm using Ubuntu 18.04. For Windows users, process and steps will be similar. They only have to do this inside Conda prompt, Anaconda prompt. Okay. For Linux users, users can follow my instructions directly. Uh, Navigate to the folder which you have created just now. I'm already in that folder. And if you want to create a separate Conda environment, this is a suggested practice to to reduce impact of your new code on any existing packages. So I have already created a environment. I'll just activate it. Conda activate RASA env. Okay. So my environment is now activated. Please check if you have RASA installed. You can see once you type RASA, it will start throwing some errors or some progress lines, and basically you'll have this coming up. Don't worry if you get a CUDA not installed or not found, because this library throws in, this is an error if your system does not have GPU enabled or CUDA mapped. So my laptop does not have GPU, so this will come for me every time I run RASA. You can suppress this warning also, but I suggest that you have a look on all the warnings and all the errors, because it helps you understand the program better. Okay. So let's just start with RASA. So type RASA and initialize it. So RASA space init and press enter. When you do this, RASA will automatically create a full package in your current path that you have selected. It is now asking whether which path you want to create the folder. The project. Default is current directory. If you want to create this RASA project in a separate directory, you can enter the absolute path, or you can simply press enter. And you want to train an initial model. Yes, we would like to see what happens when the initial model is trained. So while this trains, I'll also tell two very important concepts which are usually mixed, and they are completely different but used synonymously. So chatbots are an integral part of natural language processing, which is also commonly known as NLP. NLP can be further divided into multiple types. Two types that we see in chatbots very common is natural language understanding and natural language generation. So natural language understanding is when a user sends its query and you want to parse that query, you want to understand. So you want to transfer the program logic from utterance to entity or to actions also. At that point of time, natural language understanding is important. Natural language generation is important when you want to send bot responses back to the user. So if I'm saying, what is your age? Your response can be of two types. You can either say I am 100 years old, or you can say just 100 years old. So the exact context mapping, hi Shaurya, I am 100 years old. That kind of natural language generation deals with a very sophisticated chatbots. Usually, we see chatbots which are midway. They don't have very sophisticated NLG responses, but they also don't give very blank responses. So they give, I'm 100 years old. That's all. So now you can see that the RASA model is completely trained. And if you see towards the on the back, a lot of files and folders have been created. We'll go through important files very quickly. Uh, let's see what happens in each of these files. This will also help you understand the flow of the chatbot building. Okay, so I'll first open all of this into my any. You can open this in any text editor, Visual Studio Code, Atom, Sublime, anything. Or even Notepad++ works. I prefer Atom, so I'll be opening this into Atom, but there are no code editor specific commands. So anything that you are comfortable with, you can practically open this. You can open all the four files, config.yml, credentials, and domain and endpoints. Okay, and from data, you can open go inside data and you can open nlu.yml. Okay, so we'll first cover nlu.yml. This will give you a sense about what this chatbot is doing, and after this we'll quickly see this chatbot live. So you have already built a chatbot. The RASA init command already creates a simple chatbot live for you. Before we see that demo, we'll see what this chatbot does. We'll try to predict how this might work, and then we'll go and see the responses, and we'll try to understand why it is happening. So you can see there are certain intents. So now what was intent? If we go back to our definition, intent was the meaning of the search query. So this means that the user is greeting us. And what are examples? How user can greet us? He can say hi, hello, hello there, good morning, let's go, good evening, good afternoon. Similarly, RASA already builds for you goodbye also, affirmative also, deny also, mood great, mood unhappy, bot challenge. Now, what is bot challenge? Bot challenge is when you ask, RASA. This is a chit chat. This is an advanced chit chat part where the user can ask the bot, "Are you a bot? Are you a human? Am I talking to a bot?" So for those responses, so essentially all of these, everything that you see under examples are user inputted sentences. What you expect from the user. So user can say hi, hello. Now what should be the response for this? Let's see what the RASA bot does. So go back. So now you see it is asking, do you want to speak to the trained assistant on command line? So do you want to see what the RASA default bot can do? So press Y and it will load the chatbot for you. First time it might take slightly more time. Eventually this will take less time to just start this to just start the chatbot. Okay, so let's see. What was the first example in greet? It was, let's say, hi, hey. So let's type in hey. Let's see what happens. It says how are you. So how is this building up? You know, how does the RASA chatbot know when it says hi? You know, you have to respond with hey, how are you? If I type in hi, it again says how are you. Now let's say if I want to say bye, if I say, you know, bye. So it knows what, you know, it's a very simple bot. It knows what to respond to what. Now many of you might be thinking that, you know, we can simply create a hash map, dictionary kind of thing, but think about the scalability. Think about how robust the system is. You know, I can type in capital Y, I can type in small y, it has no impact. I can put any combination permutation to this. You know, I can say Rasa bye bye, or, you know, Rasa hi, how are you? All of these things are important when building a chatbot. So you have to keep in mind the scalability of the chatbot. So let's see what happens, you know, when you type in hey, why it is coming out as a response with hey, how are you? So in RASA, every user response or every user interaction is saved in a session. Okay. Now that is a very common topic as session. I'm sure all of you would know in websites also it is very common. When you log into a website, your session is saved for probably 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 10 days, 1 year, something. RASA by default saves it for 60 minutes, 60 minutes or 60 seconds. We can see that part. So now within your sessions, there can be multiple interactions. Each of those interaction is called as story. So right now for this chatbot, the first user story that I have inputted is hey, how are you? And hi, hey, how are you? And then I've closed the conversation saying bye. If you want to stop this chatbot, you can press backslash and stop, and you can press enter. But let's not stop this chatbot right now. Okay. So where was I? Yeah, story. So each of this is a story. So now let's see where is the story saved. So if you go in the data folder, we'll see that there's a file with stories.yml. Let's open that file also. So now we'll only focus on two files for the time being, which is stories.yml and nlu.yml. Okay. So stories.yml, what does this file have? This file has a story. So this is just a name given to the story, which is happy path. You can keep it anything. You can keep it happy path SPCA also. It won't impact the program. Okay. Now what happens? Intent. So intent, step number one is intent is greet. So what happens when is this triggered? When the user is saying one of the examples that matches the intent greet. Now what is under greet? Under greet we have so many examples. Okay, so under greet, whenever user says any one of these, this happy path will get triggered. But if you see closely, happy path, sad path 1, sad path 2, all three of them begin with greet. So all the three stories can happen. There's a possibility of 33% that all the three stories can happen. Now what happens is when the user says hi, in all the three stories, the response from the chatbot is utter greet. Utter, like I told you in the beginning also, utterance is anything that happens on the UI or the user query. So what is the action that the chatbot takes for the greet? Chatbot says, you know, you also utter greet. So if we go and I'll show you in the domain part that we have an utter greet also. See, if you go to domain file, we'll come back to this later also. You can see utter greet mein you only have one sentence saying, hey, how are you? You know, if you enter multiple sentences, you know, let's say you enter another sentence named with text, let's say hello, or let's say greetings. So now what will happen is chatbot RASA will automatically randomly pick up one of these three examples. So right now, no matter how many times I say hi to chatbot, it will always reply me with, hey, how are you? But now if I train the chatbot again, it will reply me randomly once with hello, once with greetings, once with hey, how are you? So that's how this response is triggered back. And now what happens is, now once you say okay, hey, how are you, so you are essentially asking the user how is he. Now this is a very simple chatbot. So what is this chatbot trying to do? It is trying to identify what is the mood of the user, or the, yeah. So now what will happen is, now if you say I'm okay, I'm good, I'm bad, so from that part if you go back, okay, so mood grid, so I'm perfect, I'm feeling great, I'm feeling very good, I'm feeling amazing, these are all positive sentences, which means that the mood of the user or the user sentiment currently is positive. So what happens is, as soon as the user sends positive response, happy path is confirmed, because now there are no other stories which match mood happy. It is again mood unhappy and mood unhappy. So since mood great is confirmed, now it goes to utter happy. So now to see utter happy, we have to go to domain, and we see what is there in utter happy. So it is great. Carry on. Okay. So now this is the basic flow of story one that we have seen. What happens if a user says no, I'm unhappy? When a user says no, I'm unhappy, see now these, okay, so now the user will get a response of utter cheer up. So what is utter cheer up? Again, everything that you want to see from bot's responses has to be seen into domain. So utter cheer up is, here is something to cheer you up, and then it also sends a image also. So let's see what this image is. So this image is a cute little cub. Okay, so this is just to send user a affirmation that okay, your story one sad path one has been triggered. Okay, now if after seeing that photo, user says, did this help? So the chatbot again asks, did that help? Did that help? Now if the user says yes, then the story is again path one. If the user says no, then the story is path two. Okay, now let's see these three stories in action. Okay, let's open our chatbot. So hi. So now I've currently triggered all the three stories. All the three stories are possible because greet is possible in all the three. Right now, the bot has also responded with a positive mood. So now it is utter greet has also been done. So utter greet is also completed. Still, all the three stories are possible. Now what will happen? Now, whatever we type, it will change the course of this conversation or this story. So let's say something from mood unhappy. Okay, let's say what all is there in mood unhappy. Sorry, mood unhappy. I am sad. Let's say that I am sad. Okay. Now when I enter I am sad, because I have entered unhappy, so this gets cancelled. What gets triggered? Either this, so or this. So now there are possibilities for only two stories. In both of these two stories, the following action from chatbot is same, which is utter cheer up and utter did that help. Let's see what it sent me. So it sent me, here is something to cheer you. Now when I click on this, okay, now I can see this photo. Did I like that photo? I say no, and the conversation ends. Okay, now let's see what other files have been done. So this is all that the story covers. Okay, we'll be editing the story part, NLU, and domain YML files. But before we do that, let's also see what are the configuration, credentials, and endpoint files. So what is there in configuration? Okay, wait, let's go to credentials first. Okay. So like I told you, RASA can be built on any channel. It can be used for Facebook, it can be used for Telegram. So this is the file that you have to edit and that we'll be editing later today to push our chatbot live onto Telegram. Okay. Endpoints, this is the file where the local servers endpoint are created. So this, if you see this action point, localhost 5055 webhook, this is the default one that runs our, this is the default port that runs our RASA server. Now very important file is configuration file. Today we will not be editing anything from this file, but it is important for you to understand what happens in this file. Okay, so if you see in this file, there are a lot of pipeline that have been used. There has been a white space tokenizer, which means tokenizer. What does a token mean? Token means the smallest unbreakable unit of a sentence. So tokens are essentially words. Usually they are space separated. So this is white space separated tokenizer, which means that it breaks an entire sentence into small words. Regex featureizer. Regular expressions are very important and fundamentally form the base for many NLP and NLU operations. Chatbots are no different. So regex are important because they enable to match a lot of user inputs from very limited number of examples. Then there are similar pipelines, lexical syntactic featureizer, count vector featureizers. Now these are important for us to understand the importance of a keyword in that sentence. Okay. Next we come is analyzer, which is okay. We can skip that part. Char WB. Then is min and max n-grams. Now n-grams is how collectively you consider the words. Okay. Let's say we take this example. No configuration for the NLU pipeline was provided. How many words are there in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 words are there. Okay. 8 words mean when I take unigrams, which means when I take one word at a time, there are 8 such combinations possible. What happens if I take 2 words at a time? But n-grams have to be consecutive. So 2 words, 2 bigrams, what it is called is. So bigrams would be no configuration, would be first bigram. Configuration for would be second bigram, for the would be third bigram, and so on and so forth till we reach the window of was provided. Similarly, so what is given over here? Minimum n-gram size is 1, which means we have to take at least one word at a time. And how many maximum we can take? We can take maximum 4 words. So which means that it will take for the maximum part, it will take this as the first n-gram, and then it will take this part. How are these decided? These are decided basis the pipelines that have been selected, basis the match that happens. And then there is entity synonym diet classifier. Sorry. So diet classifier is very important. Diet classifier is basically the brain behind anything and everything that we have seen till now. Okay, it is a dual intent and entity identifier. So that is very important. It uh, it basically identifies in a part of sentence what is intent, what is entity, how do we map them, what happens to them, what are the actions associated, everything. So diet classifier is very important. Entity synonyms will come back to it later, saying that if you say, let's say okay, hi, hello, so okay, let's say card numbers. Okay, let's say that you're building a chatbot for the road RTO department, and they want you to extract all car number plates from a data. So that for that part, identifying different parts of that, what you'll need regex featureizer and you'll need synonym mapper. Why synonym mapper? Because car can also mean, so for RTO every vehicle number plate needs to be extracted. So what you will say, okay, I want car also, I want scooter also, I want bike also. So there are so many examples, but all of them will have same action. Over there, synonym mapper will be used. Response selector, fallback classifier. Okay, response selector is basically to identify what kind of response I have to give. So like we saw over here in domain, we added 3 responses. So I told you, right? Randomly now it will throw one of the responses. So this part is conducted by response selector. And fallback classifier is basically what happens if user says anything. You know, you have built a chatbot for news, but he says, what is the price of shampoo? Your chatbot cannot answer that. So for in that case, the fallback classifier runs, which means that if the user response does not match anything or matches with less than 30% or 0.3, then it will start this classifier. Okay, policies are also there. These are pretty much static only. TED policy is just tokenization policy. We can skip this. If there is time towards the end, I'll again come back to this. Okay, for now, let's start building the chatbot. Okay, okay. So let's say I want to first let's change something. Okay, okay. Let's stop this. So stop. Okay, now this server is free. Now let's edit some part of it. So let's go to domain and NLU. Okay, so let's say I want to start uh, under NLU. I'll add a new intent SPCA. Okay, and let's write few examples. Uh, okay, let's set an example of saying okay, when is SPCA RASA webinar? Okay, now this is the intent. So which what this means is when user types this, when is SPCA RASA webinar, this intent will get triggered. What is this intent? SPCA. So we'll need to create a story also for this. So okay, so now chatbot knows. Okay, so now SPCA intent has been entered. So what does it have to do? So let's create a story around it. So story SPCA part. Okay, let's add steps to it. So steps may we'll add intent. What was the intent? SPCA. So we'll add if SPCA has been identified and triggered, we'll need to do an action. What action do we need to do? Let's say, so we'll go back to our domain file where we define our utterances, and over here we define utter SPCA schedule. Schedule. So when is SPCA RASA? So let's say it is on the webinar is scheduled for 7 p.m. on 27th December. Cool. So now we save this file. We copy this name just to avoid typing errors. And we go back to our stories and we say, okay, action. Make sure you add a space. So action, utter SPCA RASA schedule. Now when you have done this, so now let's just revise very quickly what all we have done. We have added a new intent. We added a new intent in NLU file. We added a new story conversation in stories file, and we added a new action in the domain file. Okay. Now, how will RASA get to know what are the new intents or actions that you have added? So you have to define them. Like you initialize variables, you have to also define variables in RASA. How do we do that? How do we define intents? We define intents in domain file. So what happens? We define intents. We say, okay, let's add an intent name. What is the intent name? Intent name is SPCA. So we type SPCA as an intent. Okay, that's all. That's all you have to do. You don't have to touch anything in credentials. And okay, let's close endpoint credentials and config for now. Okay, so you have built a small chatbot. Now you have edited a small chatbot. Now let's go back to a terminal and type RASA train, enter. What will happen now? Now RASA will again load all the files. Now again it is throwing the same error which says the GPU not found. That's okay. Okay, see now it has shown, the core. Okay, if we scroll up slightly, yeah. So core model has changed, NLU model has changed, NLG model has changed, right? So we have made changes in 2 to 3 files, which has impacted the base of the model. Now towards the end of this file, you'll see that the training will start. See, now this is training is starting. For people who have built at least one deep learning model or machine learning model, they will know what an epoch is. An epoch is basically like a for loop. It basically says that I have to run this for 100 times, and currently it has run for 62, 63, 64. That's all. The default is 100. For complex chatbots, we can scale this to 10,000 also, 1 lakh also, but the training time will also increase simultaneously. Okay, so the model training is now complete. Now it is processing everything, and by the time, yeah, now this is also done. In your laptop, it might be faster or slower depending upon the configuration. My system configuration is 16 GB RAM and 4 core CPU. Okay, so while this trains, let's also show you something very interesting. Um, though I've not told any one of you to install this, but meanwhile, please, if anyone is interested in learning this, install RASA X. Go to RASA X and you can install it. It is a very simple to install tool, and you can install RASA X also. Okay, it is given over here if needed. Else, I'll just show a demo onto this. This is not needed to build your chatbot for now. Okay, you only have to select local mode of installation, and it will give you this installation line. You can simply install this. Okay, so my chatbot is now trained and it is stored also. Let's see where my chatbot is stored. So this is the root directory of my RASA folder. Let's say, so it created a folder named as models, and over there you can see there are 2 models to it. If you see, this model has 100 KB more, which means now it is also accommodating our examples that we have added. Let's see what happens now. So what is the answer? What should we type to activate this? You have to type when is SPCA RASA webinar. So now let's run RASA space run. Not run. Let's put it on shell only. So RASA space shell. Okay. So give it a second. It will load the model, and yeah, now it is done. So now you can paste your the line to activate SPCA intent, which is when is SPA RASA webinar. Okay, loading. Okay, so now when I type when is SPA RASA webinar, it should tell me the date of this. So the webinar is scheduled for 7 p.m. on 27 December. Got it? So with this, you can build very simple chatbots yourself. But this is not what I aim to do today, given I still have some time left. Okay, so this is, and you can add as many questions and as many things you want. You can. So now you know what triggers SPCA. Now let's type something else also. So let's say what is SPCA. It is still identifying this. Why? Because the number of examples are very less. We only have one example for this intent, which is not good. RASA itself in the documentation states that we need to have at least 2 examples. But why is it matching this? Because the keywords SPCA are common in this. Okay, now if I say what is the price of shampoo, it has no answer. What happened over here? It went to the fallback. We discussed fallback also, right? So it went to the fallback classifier because none of the other intents had a match of more than 30%. So it didn't have any response to this. In your custom chatbots, you can also add response to fallback classifiers. Okay, for now, let's stop this chatbot. Okay, now let's go slightly more deeper into this. Okay, let's go to our root folder again. Okay, there's a folder with named as actions. Go to actions. Again, there's a file with actions.py. Open that file. Okay, now this is very interesting part of this entire webinar. What the file that you have opened is called custom actions file. Custom actions are basically, imagine what all applications you can solve if your chatbot, you can control it with your Python codes. I'm not talking about building stories or uh, understanding what the user says. You can do that also, but more importantly, how the docs also stated, you can turn on a light bulb, you can ride a segway bot with this. You can do anything. Actions, custom actions allow you to integrate, solve, develop, build anything. It has absolutely no dependency on RASA. There's a question on the chat. 1 second. Okay, what are the common mistakes or okay while configuring RASA? RASA, when downloaded, there are very less chances of any issues till the time RASA init has been done. The only issue, there are two issues that you might face. One is if you already have a different application. So RASA runs on all of these are hosted applications. Okay, currently this is hosted on localhost. Sometime today only, if we get time, we'll host it on NGRock. So at that point of time, it is hosted on NGRock. So every port, that port needs to be free. So you might get an error saying that. Okay, let's try and show that error. Okay, I'll run RASA shell from two sides. It will show that error also. Condas, okay, so now my RASA shell is running over here. You can see now if I try to run RASA shell here also, it will throw me an error saying that the port is already active. Okay, so why does that happen? So that happens. So that issue happens because the port is already occupied. So to skip that part, what you can do is you can type ls of without space -I and the port that you are using. So by default, you're using 5000. You're using 5005, whatever you're using. So I'm using 5005. You can see my RASA shows up. Okay, now you have to stop this. Okay, this is you have to stop this process. How do you stop it in conda prompt? Also is the same one. It kill, and then you have to enter this process ID, which is 12175. So 12175. When you do this, it will kill this. Now if I see what is there, okay, so this was set up by root. So you have to say kill by a active process. So kill -9 and then the process ID. So this. Now this is not running. If I go back over here, this was killed. Okay, so if your server, if your prompt says that the port is busy, error, and then you can resolve this with lsof. Okay, you have to type what all you have to type. So you have to type what you forgot over one of the files mentioned in the. Okay, so if we don't update domain file, RASA is smart enough for simple chatbots. RASA is smart enough to update, to automatically keep this updated in the bot automatically. Even if I don't put SPCA over here, it will still work. What happens if I don't update NLU? SPCA intent will not get triggered. If SPCA intent is not triggered, anything that you built ahead upon that will not get triggered automatically. So SPCA intent needs to be typed in. It will never throw an error. So worst come worst, what will happen is your chatbot will go to the fallback classifier, which means that it will have no response. But it will never crash. It will not throw an error because an intent is missing or an entity is missing. If you go to stories also, if you delete this, if you don't keep any story for that intent, nothing happens, because Rasa will know that okay, now this is an SPCA intent, but there is no matching story for that. So it will not respond anything, and it will again fall back. It will go to the fallback classifier. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So that works for us right now. Did I make any other changes? No. We are on the custom actions part. Okay. So custom actions file is very important. Uh, it is very interesting part of RASA. Unlike other bot services like Dialogflow, you have to create custom action integrations and APIs to manage that. RASA has it in house. You can obviously outsource it. You can also host it separately, but you can always keep it intact within the application also. So that gives a very strong bond to the application chatbot and to the custom actions file. Okay, let's see what is there in the actions file. So let's uncomment anything that is below this. Okay. Okay, because Python is based on indent, so we need to keep indentation also aligned. Let's just check that. Okay. Okay. So what is happening in this file? Okay, you can ignore the comments on the top. You can simply focus on this. The most important parts are this part. Okay. So like we have name for intent, we have name for actions, utterances. Similarly, we also have name for custom actions. What is over here the name for custom action? The name for custom action over here is action hello world. Okay. Now what happens next? Okay, this is just I'm sure everyone is aware about this format of class and function in Python also. So now, how do you keep track of the conversation? So how do you keep track of the conversation? What is the last message what caused trigger to this custom action? Okay, we don't know anything about this. So let's see what keeps track of this. So the tracker over here keeps track of everything that was sent along with this message. Okay, I'll also show you what all is kept on the tracker. So you can do print tracker dot get. Okay, let's just print tracker itself. Print tracker will actually not be good. Let's see. It will actually an object. Okay, so utter message is there, and we have what is the response given to. So what happens when this file runs? If custom action file, if any intent triggers, if any story has action hello world as the action, then this will get triggered. And what happens under this? Under this, it will reply to the user saying hello world. Okay, so let's do a dummy run over here. Okay, let's in the story, instead of utter um, SPCA RASA schedule, we'll replace this with action hello world. Okay, so now what should happen is when we trigger SPCA intent, which means when we ask when is the SPCA RASA webinar, we should get a response saying hello world. Okay, so let's run this. Now there's a two-step process. I'll first show you what errors we make on this, and then I'll show you the correct method to do this. So let's first train this. Okay, so every time you update your RASA file, nothing will get reflected on the chatbot if you don't train it. Okay, most of the times the changing would be very small and RASA would pick up very quickly. Okay, okay, so now it is training. So now what will happen is if we run now if we enter when is SPCA webinar. Okay, okay, it is training 35 times. So when we enter what is SPCA webinar, it will trigger SPCA intent, and this intent goes into the story. It sees, okay, so SPCA, what is the next action? It is action hello world. So it will go to action hello world. It will, oh, we didn't register. Okay. So like we register intents over here. Let me stop. Yeah. Like we register intents, we also need to register our actions over here. So what are our actions over here? What action did we define over here? We defined an action saying action hello world. Okay. Now we have to do RASA train. So, but very important step over here is, since we are using custom actions, we need to run those actions separately. It will run within RASA, but we need to operate it into a separate terminal, or we need to disown it or detach it. Okay, so let's run. Again, this has to be in the directory, root directory of your RASA folder where you are currently working, the working directory. Over here, go and type RASA run actions. Okay, what happens when you press enter to this? It will go and it will start running everything that is there in the actions file. Currently there are only one executable file, so it will only execute one actions file. You see, now this is hosted up and running on localhost 5055. Again, if you the similar error can come over here also. If you run RASA run actions on same port from two different terminals, it will crash on one of these sides. So this will not work on this slide. See, so bind on address is already done. So 5055 is already in use. So for that, again, the command is very simple. You have to first see lsof -i and 5055. You get to see this process ID. I'll not kill it because I need it over here. So what you'll do kill -9 and then you enter the process ID. Okay, let's go back. Let's see if our chatbot is already trained or not. Okay, it is still training. Okay, almost done. Okay, any queries till then while this trains? Any queries? Okay. Cool. So now our bot is ready. Let's see what our bot does. How do we run this bot? We type RASA and shell. Why are we typing shell? Because we want to execute this bot within our console shell. Okay. Okay. Now it will load the model and it will run this. Make sure that you have your actions, RASA run actions running, while this is also loading. This is important for us to load the custom actions file. If this is not loaded, and even if we trigger the custom actions from our RASA, it will go to the fallback classifier. Running custom actions and executing actions is important. Okay. Is our model? Yeah. So our model is ready. Let's see what it says for hi. it says greetings. So why does it say greeting? Because if you see in our in our user utter greet, what do we have? Hello, hi, and greetings. Okay, I missed these. Okay. Let's type hi again. It is now sending hello. So you see how different, how the response classifier is coming into picture. Okay. Now let's trigger our actions hello world. How do we trigger this? We go to NLU, we see, okay, I have to type when is RASA webinar. Like copy paste it over here, and now it says, okay, error. What is the error? Okay, let's see the error in RASA actions. Okay. No endpoint is configured. Okay, okay. So let's go to our endpoint file. Endpoints.yml. Array, not this one. Acha, okay. Yeah. So see, now this was the action. This is the custom actions endpoint that we have to see. Why we are using this? If you see on our custom actions file, it is showing that action endpoint is up and running on localhost 5055. But if you click on this, it will show requested URL not found, which means that actions file is working, but there is nothing to show on this. So let's go back and let's edit our endpoints file. Under endpoints file, you only have to uncomment these two lines. Only uncomment. Don't type anything, nothing. Okay. Save it. Go back to the terminal. Okay. You can stop actions and you can rerun actions. There's no problem. You have to exit your RASA model, and now you have to only run it. You don't have to train your model again. But if you are doing any more changes, like I've added greetings, I've added s over here. So let's train our model also. Okay. For if you have not made any change, then you can simply run your model again. The endpoint will be considered. Okay. Only templates have been changed, so it is working now. Okay, so this time, because we didn't make significant change, the RASA training of the also took very less time. Okay, let's do RASA shell. Okay, so now our RASA bot is ready. Let's test it. For hi, it is showing greetings, and for NLU, for when is RASA webinar, it says hello world. Now, where is this hello world coming from? This hello world is coming from our custom actions. Okay, this hello world is coming from our custom actions. What has happened just now? When we said when is the SPCA RASA webinar, it triggered SPCA intent. What happened with this intent? It went to storage. It checked which all stories have SPCA. It said, okay, SPCA is present only in SPCA path, which means this story is triggered. What happens next? The execution has happened line wise. So now action is action hello world. So when we go to action hello world, now it will go in the domain. It will check, okay, action hello world is registered. So when it goes over here, it sees, okay, action hello world is the name of this action. Now what happens under this? It says utter message text is equal to hello world. Okay, so now practically this will be the most that we have done today. Now whatever additional I'm doing, this is only to build a working chatbot for news. Okay, your chatbot already has, you have already worked on custom actions file. From this file you can trigger back anything. You can put 3+3, you can take two inputs from the user, uh, you can add slots to it, and you can say, you can create a calculator bot, you can create a news bot, you can create a stock bot, news stock bot, anything. Okay, so this is how we'll be working. So custom actions from here, you can also trigger, you can do a streaming service to Arduino, LED, IR bulbs, anything. You can do home automation from here. Whatever Alexa does, Alexa increase the volume, Alexa play some music, anything. All of that you can do over here. Mind, I also want to add you that in the endpoints and in the credentials, you can also add input channels, which means you can also talk to your bot. So it is as good as an Alexa or a Google Voice Assistant. Obviously, you need to train this bot a lot, but for custom scenarios, this will also be very good. Okay. Now let's create something very interesting. Okay, let's make a news bot. So to create the news bot, I have looked up for a API. This is a free to use API for development purposes. It allows for 2000 hits per day, which is more than sufficient. 2000 hits per hour, something like that. So this is very good, very easy to use. I'll be showing the usage. Just to use it, what you'll have to do is you'll have to, okay, let me sign out. You'll have to sign in, and you'll get this API key. Okay, let me sign in also. So you click on this get API key. When you click on get API key, you'll have to enter your name, email ID, and password, and you have to clear this captcha, and then you will receive an email also, and your API codes will be, you will have a similar screen to this. Okay, copy this API authentication code, API key. Okay, and then you can go back to your home, and that's all. So this is a one-step process. All this I'm showing you is only to create something interesting for today. Okay, let's start with the development. Let me activate my environment, RASA env. Okay, to show you a quick demo, I'll do this in Python shell itself. Okay, they have also given the examples of how to use this. So I think, yeah. So you have, okay, you have to install this. So you have to do, for me it is already installed, but okay, you have to type pip install news API Python and hit enter. It will automatically install everything. If you are an Ubuntu user, you'll have to do sudo pip install. If you are not the sudo user, if you are doing it within the environment, you can simply install it. Once installed, you'll have successfully installed news API. Okay. Now, how do we use this part? So news API is very easy. News API is only this three commands. IPython. I have it even simpler done. Um, okay. So what have I done? I have, okay, this is the news API only. Okay. So you can use URL request library also. For those of you who don't know request library is a Python de facto library to interact with the World Wide Web. You can do post and get request through this. Currently, this is a get request. You can visit any website through URL from request. There are also alternative libraries, URL lib3, URL lib2. There are multiple libraries that we can use. Right now, we'll use request library, which is very easy to use. What we have typed over here is, we have typed, so what are we searching the URL? So we are searching the URL for news API, everything. What are we searching for? Our search keyword over here is Apple. Let's make it something different. Let's make it COVID. COVID. From date, so I, to limit the number of articles and to reduce the speed, retrieval speed, I've kept it only for today. Sort by popularity, language is English. Source. So you can remove sources if you want news from any website. For me, I wanted it only from BBC News, so I added BBC. And you have to add your API key. Without API key, without a valid API key, this will not work. Okay, please make sure that the API keys are valid. There are no double quotes just around the API key. It can be double quotes around the entire format. You can replace everywhere with double quotes, but make sure that you follow this. Okay. Okay. Now, when you do request.get URL, your file will get executed. Let's just keep it over here. Okay, so that's all. So you already have captured this news. Let's see what the news is. So let's see. So response. If you print response, response will say 200. 200 means in website development, 200 means it's a success. So let's see what it has. So request dot. You also have to load request. Sorry, response dot JSON blank parenthesis enter. And you can see there's so much information. Okay, let's go to the let's just print the first five of just print the first three of it. Okay. Okay, articles can be keys. So there are three keys to this. Let's just take the articles. We don't want to see the total number of results, and over there we'll only take the top three. So you see what are the top three results that we are getting? We are getting from BBC News. All the three are from BBC. This is also from BBC. This is also from BBC. What is the first result for COVID? Black Lives Matter. My year as an accidental anti-racism. So something that is coming for this. What is the second news article? It is showing that some match for anyways, whatever this news is. Okay. So these are the news articles that are matching the search query that we have entered. Now, if we want to show, so this is the backend that I'm showing. Okay. Somehow this has to go as in the front end to the user also. So user will not be interested in all of this. What we'll do, we'll only take the important part. So let's just take one of it. So 0. I'll take just the first news, and we'll take let's store it. So news is equal to this, and I only want news card title, and I only want news URL. Okay, so these are the two things that we'll send to the user. You can obviously add all the things. You can add content also. You can add description also. Everything. There are no restriction to this. Okay, you can send in everything to the user. But for now, we'll just send these two, title and URL. Okay, let's very quickly revise this code, because now we'll simply pass it to our actions file. Okay, what we did, we first wrote an import request. We did a request hit. We got the request via this query, and we did an enter. Okay, now when we did enter, what happened? We got response in this format, which means it is a success. If you get anything apart from 200, which it means that there was no data fetched. Now, how do we get the result, actual result? So we do response.json blank parenthesis. This converts it into a JSON. For a few people who want to explore this data more, you can also do this from pprint import pprint. Pprint stands for pretty print. It is used for printing dictionaries or JSONs very well. So instead of print response.json, you can also do pprint response.json. When you do this, you see the dictionary keys are auto indented, the content is indented. So it is easier to read this dictionary. This is only for visualization perspective. Okay, and after a response.json, now we'll be limiting our user responses to. So we save this, and then we say news title and news URL. Correct. Now let's push all of this into custom actions. Okay, you'll see how simple this is. Okay, so let's create a function, define get news search keyword. Okay, what was the first line that we wrote? We wrote for we wrote this line, which means that we are getting the responses. So let's copy paste it over here. Okay, okay. So I've entered all of this. Now what happens after we get the responses? Now we need to convert this response into JSON. So what do? We say news. Let's make a good name. So dump news dump is equal to response dot JSON, and now we convert this dump. Let's say we want to send the user only the top 3 articles. Okay, because if you see in chat, if you send so many articles, it becomes bad user experience. Let's send only top 3 or top 2 articles. Okay, so we'll create a counter variable equal to 0, and we'll say while counter is less than 3. Okay, because we'll be sending only 3 articles. What we'll do news is equal to dump of. Okay, we'll also need to add articles because we'll only take articles from it. So dump of counter, and we'll add 1 to the counter plus is equal to 1. Now what happens in between of this? Let's create a answer variable also, or the result variable. So result is equal to blank string, and let's say we want to send only the URL and the title to the user. So we say result, we append to the user to the result. Result is equal to news of title. Let's add a blank line, new line, and news of URL. Okay, and just to separate out everything, let's add 2 lines, 2 new lines after the news URL. Okay, this will make it more aesthetic looking. So okay, now what we have, so now we'll exit the while loop and we'll say, okay, so now all of this we have it saved under our result variable. Now we need to send the result variable to our main function. Okay, so let's send this result variable also. So return. Okay, now let me just show you one more thing. I'm thinking we are running out of time. uh, is it okay if we extend by 15 minutes? Will that be okay, Professor?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, okay. So I'll show you very quickly now. Okay, so we'll do very quickly. I'll explain you the codes, but I'll not type in everything. Okay, so okay. So now what happens is I am also calling that now. So response text is equal to we'll do a function call for get news, and right now we are not using the search keyword anywhere, so let's replace COVID with a search keyword. Okay, let's keep this as search keyword. But yeah, so we have in our search keyword right now we'll keep a fixed keyword COVID, and we'll in the next iteration in the next 5 minutes we'll replace this with the search keyword. Okay, so now we have this. Let's train our model and run it. So telling the server now RASA train is required. RASA training model training is not required because we have only changed our shell, our actions file. So you only have to stop our actions file and you have to only run it back. Okay, I have stopped RASA shell also, so it is loading back. Okay, so RASA actions is running now. Okay. Okay, so now this is also ready. Let's see what this will throw out me as a user. Okay, bot will continue. What is the error? Custom action. Failed to use custom action. Internal server library. Request. Okay, we didn't. I didn't import request library. My mistake. Yeah. So import request. Okay, rest everything is done. Yeah. News result. Yeah. Rest everything will work. So let's stop our. I'm restarting my actions only. Okay. Shell will not run again. This should work. Make sure always when you're using custom actions, your both the terminals are running. Okay. And okay. Let's see. Okay. See. Now what do I have? I have Black Lives Matter, and then I have the URL for it. Now I've only got 3 articles. I've got all 3 are from BBC, and my chatbot is now working. You understand now what is happening at the backend? Very quickly, we'll take a recap. We triggered the custom action via when is the SPCA RASA webinar happening, and what happened from here? The action hello world got triggered and it called my function. Okay, but I never mentioned any keyword. Correct? It took COVID only as the keyword. I want to send in a custom keyword. How do we do that? So if you want to send in our custom keywords, we have to use this part. Okay, we have to use our SPCA RASA entities. We'll have to see. Okay. Uh, okay. There's nothing else that I've done. Okay. Okay. Now this is COVID. Now you can replace this with. Okay, I'll explain you this code. I've written this just to be safe side. Okay. Now what I've written in this code. Okay, sorry I've copy pasted. We are running short on time. So this is a flag variable, that's okay. So what happens on the tracker? So like I told you, tracker keeps track of everything that is happening on the conversation. So tracker keeps track of all the entities, all the intents, everything. So custom actions, you can also keep track of entries and intents. Now, if any intent match is found, okay, if a specific keyword match is found, then it will trigger out this. Then it will go and keep save the search keyword as value, and it will get news from the search API. Now over here the function name is get news. So we will replace this with get news. It will go to the search keyword, it will get the news keyword back. If the news is if there is a relevant news for that keyword, you know, a lot of times it is also possible that you search for SPCA or RASA and there is no news today. So you will also throw some proper message to the user, right? So if the news is there, if it is of more than 1 characters, more than at least 1 characters, then you know, print that news on the terminal. Else you say that okay, this was a tough search and I'm still learning. You can make this any custom also. Now you would be wondering from where suddenly this entities part came in. Okay, first let's save this. Come back to your NLU portion. Under when is this RASA webinar happening? Change this to show more relevant things. So show me news for COVID. Now, how will the chatbot understand what is COVID? Okay, if you remember this slide, okay, entity is the part that is the actionable part. So custom actions need actionable part as an input. So what happens over here? We need to mark this. So we need to mark this and we say that, okay, so COVID is an important keyword. But square marking is only tell that this is an actionable entity. You also have to give a name to it. So what do we say? We say that, okay, so the name to this is search keyword. You can name this anything. This need not match with your Python codes. Okay, let's add one more example. Get me news for uh, Amazon. Okay, again, this we'll have to mark with search keyword. And you can add as many as possible examples over here. Okay, let me add one more thing. Get me latest news for India. Okay, and this is also search keyword. Now we have defined our refined our intent. Let's go back to our domain, and we have to also define what is the search keyword. Correct. So we have to define it under entities, because it is an actionable part of this sentence. So we say entities, and we say search keyword. Cool. So now we have search keyword also over here. Sorry. And under our code also we have the entities matching. So now we have to train our RASA also. This time we'll have to train our RASA also. Train. Okay, so while this trains up, uh, I hope some of you have also registered, if not already registered, on the Telegram. Okay, so Telegram is an open source peer-to-peer communication platform similar to WhatsApp. It has the advantage of it for developers perspective is that it offers very easy to code and build chatbots or APIs. Okay, so to build out your own chatbot on Telegram, um, I'm showing this to you on laptop, but you can also do this on your mobile. Search for Botfather, Botfather. When you search for Botfather, there will be many names. Look for the one which has blue tick around it. Go there and you type new bot. Okay. When you type new bot, it will automatically take you through a menu-driven program. So you can call this bot anything. Since I've already taken the name RASA SPCA bot, I'll be taking it webinar bot. You can name it anything. Webinar bot. This I'm showing only. Okay, let me just put it dummy bot, because we'll not be using this. We can use dummy bot also. Okay. Webinar SPCA bot. Enter. Now it will ask for a username for your bot. So again, we'll to keep simplicity, we'll keep it same webinar SPCA bot. Okay. Now this user bot has been created, and now you can copy. This is the HTTP API key that you need to keep very handy and safe. If you share it with your friends, right now it will not impact, but in production environment, anyone with this API key can modify your bot or can deny access to your bot. Okay, so this is how you keep a track of your bot. If you want to see all of your bots that you have created, so you can click on my bots, and you can see I have two bots. One is RASA SPCA bot, the other is webinar SPCA bot. Okay, let's see if this is trained till now. So let's again type in RASA shell, enter. So this time what do we have to search? What do we have to type in the user? We don't have to type show what is when is the SPCA RASA webinar. We have to type show me news for COVID, show me news for Amazon, and hopefully it should work. Okay. We also have to rerun the actions file because we have changed many parts of this file. Correct? We have added this file tracker over here. We have added request file also. So we need to change this file also. So we just reload the RASA run actions. Again, I'm telling you need to make sure that both the files are running. RASA actions for custom actions and RASA shell for main file. Okay, let's just test our bot. What happens if I say hi? It says greeting, which means our bot is completely working. Okay, now let's test for the current changes that we have made. What is this? Show me news for COVID. You don't have to type with square brackets. You only have to type show me news for COVID. Okay, and this is also running. So let's type enter. Okay. Fail to execute custom actions. Okay, internal p print. Okay, sorry. So I didn't define p print over here. Where am I using p print? Okay. So from p print import p print. Okay, this is just a optional thing. You can skip this and you can replace p print with just print also. Okay, this is only to see dictionary in a formatted manner. Okay, let's type this over here again. Okay, see, now it is again showing me news for COVID, and to confirm that it is picking up news only for COVID, I have also printed COVID over here. Okay, if you want to see this for something else, what else have we given as an example? We have given the news for Amazon also. So let's pick up Amazon. Okay, so get me news for Amazon. So now what will happen? It will not, it is okay. Index out of range because it didn't occur something. Okay, wait 1 second. We print search keyword, it picked up Amazon, error handling it this. Amazon search keyword. Okay. Latest news. 31 get news. Okay, there are, okay, yeah. So the error, what it is coming is, 3 news articles are not there. Okay, if 3 news articles are not there, then obviously it will throw an error. So let's just make it let's just make it okay. If len of dump is more than 3, only then it will enter this loop. Another way is that we just take one article, or if it's just present only, then we'll take. Okay, let's do that. It will be simpler for now. Okay. Else result is no article. Cool. So now we only have to run the actions file again. So everyone is having the Telegram bot ready, right? You have this API key also with you. Okay. So let me latest news on the. So it is showing no article found, and because it is no article found, so it will print over here also there is no article found. So this now completes your entire chatbot. Okay. So your entire chatbot has been developed. Now comes the interesting part of pushing this on Telegram, and this only takes 5 minutes. How simple is this on RASA? You can see now. So you have to go on to RASA and you have to go on to credentials. In your credentials, this is my old file. So in your credentials, okay, let me just copy this thing. Okay, go to your credentials file. Over here you will see there are many places where you can attach your RASA bot. You can add it to your Facebook account, Facebook Messenger, Slack, Socket.io, Mattermost. I've also added it to custom connectors. I've added it to SAP. I've added it to Microsoft Teams also. So you can also add it to your own Android application, iOS application, website, anywhere. Okay. Now we'll just add it to our Telegram. So what will come over here? Okay. Okay. So what will come in the access token? Access token will be your this one. Okay. So this will be your access token. You paste it over here. What will be in your verify? Your verify will be your bot name. So in this case, it will be webinar SPCA bot. But for right now, I'll just use my previous bot that I've used, which is RASA SPCA bot. This one. Okay. So I've used this same API token. If you see KEMI. And now you'll ask, what is this webhook URL? So when you're pushing your chatbot to Telegram, it means any user on Telegram can access your chatbot while you're running this RASA on your laptop. To do that, you have to accept connections from Telegram, which means from public domain, which means you have to expose or create an endpoint into public domain. To do that, there are many ways. One of the simplest ways that I find is using ngrok. Okay. Now, I have not given this to your professor to tell you to install ngrok beforehand, because this is an optional part. This is where it gets interesting. And if you want to do, it is very simple. Go to ngrok.com.org. Sorry, yeah, sorry .com. Click on sign up. When you click on sign up, it will ask you for email ID and simple details, and it will show I've already logged in, so it is not asking me. It will give you step-by-step methods to install and set up. Okay, step-by-step methods to install and set up, and you only have to run, and depending upon your installation scheme, you only have to run this command, ngrok http 80. This is sufficient for website hosting, but we'll not be using port number 80, we'll be using port number 5000. Okay, let me show you. So assuming you have already set up ngrok, open another terminal. Now we are using three terminals. One is for RASA, other is for RASA actions, and this is to host your chatbot if you want to push it live on Telegram. So what you will do, first I'll activate my environment. Okay. Now I'll do ngrok http, and because I'm using it on 5000, I'll have to use 5000. You see now, this is a free plan, so you'll have these two links. Okay. Now Telegram, Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, a lot of websites only accept HTTPS links. Okay. You can also expose your server directly, but that your laptop directly to public domain, but that will only allow you for an HTTP connection. So either you buy a SSL license for your IP and then you do that, which is difficult because you will have a dynamic IP, or you host it on a website and over there you have SSL and then you can connect very easily. So for now, I'll do a copy of this link and I'll paste it over here. Okay, I'll save it. So right now, and obviously you'll have to add webhooks, Telegram, and webhook. Okay, what does this mean? For RASA, it means that under webhooks, so there are multiple webhooks that we can do. We can connect with Facebook, we can connect with Twilio, Slack, Cisco WebEx, anything. Under that, what we have to connect with? We have to connect with Telegram. And under Telegram, what are we doing? We are connecting with webhooks. So that is why it is a threefold directory. So it is webhooks, Telegram, and then webhook. Okay. Now we'll do a save of this. Very important thing, because we are using a free version of ngrok in this webinar. If you stop this shell by pressing Ctrl C or by closing this link will change. So every time you restart ngrok or restart your laptop, you'll have to change this link also. Rest everything will remain same. RASA, you don't need to change this link. You don't need to change the verify bot also. You only have to change this IP link. Okay. Now once this is done, you have to run your chatbot also, correct? So again, we'll come back to our main article page, main RASA page. We'll stop this. If you notice, we have till now used RASA shell. Okay. Now we'll be using RASA run because now we don't want to use it on shell. We want to use it on Telegram. So we'll type RASA run. This is for my convenience. I also do while prototyping debug. So I'll also add an option to debug. So I'll also see what all is happening on the chatbot. And you remember we have run ngrok on port 80. So we'll run this also on port 5000. So we'll run this also on port number 5000 and enter. You don't need to run your actions file again. That is safe and sound. Okay. You don't have to change anything on ngrok. Okay. Now let's run this. Whew. Okay. Now let's go back to our Telegram. So this should now work. See, I was testing it today earlier, and this is how it should look. Let's see if it works. Okay, now it is showing RASA server is up and running. Let's see if this works now. How do we test it? We say hi. And it is coming with greetings. To anyone who is using this right now, who is on this webinar, has registered on Telegram, even as a user, not with the API bot, you can look up for RASA SPCA bot. You can search over here RASA _ SPCA bot, and you can enter and you can play with this right now because I'm keeping this chatbot live for the another next 20 minutes now. And you can also see show me news for COVID. So over here, if you see, this COVID has come and the 3 news articles have also come. Even though COVID and Black Lives Matter, take wedding photographer, I don't know what all news is this, but this is how this is working, and it is only sending you the news title and the URL. Telegram is automatically fetching you the details, but this is how this is working. So at the end of this, you have a fully working Telegram bot. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more things that you can do. You can add buttons to it. Okay, you can add games to this. You can add slots to this. You can ask user what they like to do, what are their preferences, what is their age, and send personalized chats to them, personalized responses to them. Any queries till here? I just need 2-3 more minutes and we are done. Any more queries over here on this? Okay. So just give me 1 second. I just want to show something. So we built the chatbot. I've already told you we can integrate with anything, Messenger, Twilio, Cisco WebEx, everything. ngrok also. I'll be sharing the codes, the slides with the professors. You can get in touch with them for the code materials. You can get in touch with me directly in case you have any query or any doubts. Okay. Now here comes why RASA. Okay. So one of the latest features of RASA is RASA X. Okay. Now this is how RASA X looks like. What I did to start RASA X, I went into terminal and I typed RASA X. You have to install this separately. Okay, this is a very small package and very easily downloadable. You can search it on net and you'll get a download files. And you can see, you can go to talk to your bot and it will show up in a second. View models. Yeah, so you can talk to your bot. What happens in talk to your bot? You can train it while interactively. You don't need to go to custom actions. You don't need to edit endpoints, actions, NLU, nothing. This is one of the very latest good feature. Okay, so let's say if I type hi, so it goes to the bot and it says utter greed. So you remember what we did in our story part? We created a story. If it says greed, then it should say utter greed. If I say I am not feeling good, then it is okay. Okay. It is taking good. Okay. So let's say I am feeling bad. So now it is default fallback because unhappy mood does not have this example. Let's see what unhappy mood is having. I am sad. Okay. So I am sad. So when I take I am sad, it takes unhappy and it sends me a cheer up photo. Remember this photo that should come up? Yeah. And here is something to cheer you up. So this is how everything works up. You can send images into your chat as responses. I've sent how we have used it. You can send graphs, you can send bar charts, you can send interactive HTML pages. You can send anything as a response. Okay, it only takes slightly more time, but the results are phenomenal. You can link it up with voice to speech to text, give a text response back, everything. You can connect this with Amazon Polly, Google Assistant, anything. So this is how this works. Applications are practically limitless. Okay, and AR VR support systems are something very new that are coming up. When you wear the headgear, instead of building very good navigation system, you can interact, you can talk with the system. Iron Man has Jarvis, something of that sort. RASA can only not only build chatbot, it can also build voice bot also. Healthcare, CRM, IVR. I think this is pretty much self-explanatory. Any questions? We can take questions now, if anyone has any question. For code and packages, I'll share this data with your professors. Yes, we can run this on Raspberry Pi. Yes, this can also run on TensorFlow Lite. So if you see on when you type Rasa shell or Rasa run, you'll see, okay, TensorFlow comes over here. So you can there are two ways to do this. You can either train it on TensorFlow Lite, or you can also export this model. Okay, you can export this as a whole model that comes as RASA model. You can convert this into a TensorFlow Lite, and then you can execute it on Raspberry Pi also. You can execute it on Raspberry Pi directly also via custom actions, or via by converting this model for local explore. Okay. Okay. Feedback. Okay. Okay, there's another question. How can we create a retrieval based chatbot for Android platform using RASA? What are the software tools that we need for this? Okay, so retrieval based chatbots, I'm assuming you're talking from a SQL database perspective. To interact with SQL based perspective, you don't need any other software. You only need a PyODBC driver to connect to your database. Everything else can be managed by custom actions. So to answer to any question, is this possible? The answer is custom actions. It is possible. Imagine uh, it's your brain that you're working on custom actions. Okay, if the user says, let's say, what are the totals Maggi noodle sales in India? How do we do that? We have a database connected of Nestle in the backend via custom connection, custom actions. We get what is the sales. So we get two entities, sales and Maggi noodles. When we get these two entities, like I told you, for search keyword over here, yeah, search keyword over here. So over here the search keyword is COVID. So this is also right now what you have built is an information retrieval system only, but this is getting the information from outside network. If you want to do this from database, you only have to make changes into your custom actions. So your this keyword, this get news function will get changed. Rest everything will work as it is. Also, just to add on, sometimes you might not only need to respond with a single line. You might also want to respond with data, big data. Okay, not big data, like tabular data. So you can also send out JSON responses. You can send out HTML responses. You can send out graphs also if you plot anything. So all of these can go over here into utter message. There are different parameters. When you see utter message into RASA, there are different parameters that you can see. Okay. Uh, I think I've answered this. Okay. Okay. Building. Okay. So the question is Dialogflow or RASA. So I have worked on both Dialogflow and RASA. Both these systems are in production. Dialogflow offers much more flexibility, is capable to handle many more complex systems. It is readily available, readily integrable with Google services, which is again a pro and a con in itself, that it always charges you something. Okay, you have to pay for it. Plus, it is available only online. Dialogflow does not work offline. So, in scenarios like agri-tech, where your network conditions are a problem, RASA is a very big solution to it. Dialogflow can also work on cache memory, but RASA gives you full power of the data. Uh, so it is ideally Dialogflow or RASA is depends upon user, the developer, and the usage also. If your needs are more towards answering different scenarios of user queries but simple operations, then it is Dialogflow. If your scenario is operating on medium sized variations in user queries but very difficult, different, complex operations, then I think RASA is the answer. There is nothing that comes close to RASA in that. The integration on RASA with custom actions gives it an edge on Dialogflow. Dialogflow, you'll have to create a node layer or an architecture layer that interacts with Dialogflow and the custom actions. Okay. Any more questions on this? Okay. So thank you. If any participant or student wants to connect with me, I'll be happy to connect. I've shared my LinkedIn profile link. Anyone can mail me any queries if you want. Do mention SPCA in the subject and of email, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. In case of something difficult that you found today, you can take my contact details from your professors, and I shall be available over there also. Okay. Um, Professor, I think I'm done for now. Anything else you want me to explain or do?
Thank you, Shaurya. I think you have clarified most of the queries of students, and you have taken really a good hands-on session on
Hopefully,
how
that will.
yeah, chatbots can be built using RASA. Uh, I think our participants might have got an idea as to how chatbots can be built, and definitely you have shared your email address. So I think if any queries would be there, they will definitely revert to you.
Sure,
So I
sure.
think that's yeah, it was a very a detailed session that you took. So that's good, at least for a beginner, how to go about and go and explore RASA in detail.
Sure. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you,
yeah,
Professor, for having me over here.
yeah.
Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure that you took time from your schedule and conducted the session under SPCA. So thank you once again. I'll hand it over to Dinah or Aditi for the further part, that is vote of thanks.
Sure. Okay, there's one more question. Is there any, sorry, one second. Uh, is there any good Python hosting platform you would recommend? I would recommend don't use Python for hosting. Okay, let me just take 1 minute on this. Though Python is one of the most sought after programming languages right now, it is very slow. Okay. Don't use Python to host your production applications. Even if you do, you know, I think Flask or Django should be good enough. But I'll not suggest you to use it where you want to expand it to 50,000 users or even 10,000 users on limited configuration. Use Node.js. Okay, use a proper Apache system for hosting. They are really very fast. Don't use Python hosting. It will slow down your application, even with same configuration systems. Okay. Uh,
Yeah. So, Aditi, I hand it over to you.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay. So I think sir has answered all the questions that were put up. Moving on further, for the smooth functioning of an event like today's, a lot of planning is required. For that, I would like to extend my thanks towards everybody who was involved in the process. First of all, thank you, Mr. Shaurya, for sharing your valuable knowledge with our audience. You very nicely educated our audience about the topic, and I'm pretty sure they have learned a lot of new things today. Your words and the information that you shared with us drew the audience in and held their attention all the time. Whether the key terms of chatbot or installation of RASA or the different libraries that will be used, all the things were very well explained by you. So thank you, sir, a lot. Thank you. I would also like to thank our lovely participants who were present here with us today. Thank you so much for very keenly listening to all the instructions that sir were giving one by one, one by one. We were very overwhelmed by the response that you guys have given us. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for being a very patient audience. Last but not the least, a very big thank you to the whole team of SPCA, the faculty coordinators, as well as the students who have worked really hard for this event to take place. Uh, okay, so as we come to the end of this session, I would like to mention some points before we start exiting. The e-certificates for this session will be provided to you at your respective email IDs. So make sure that you fill the feedback link that has been posted up in the chat box uh, on the Google Meet as well as the YouTube Live. Both the places the link has been shared with you. Make sure you fill it before 11 p.m. tonight. Okay. And before we end this, I would also request you all to please, whoever is present in the audience, please switch on your cameras so we can take a quick screenshot. Everybody who's there.
I'll request Shaurya to also to turn on his video so that we can quickly capture the group picture.
I I have switched on my camera. Is it not working? Okay, wait. I think it is already presenting only.
Yeah, requesting other participants also to turn on their video for a quick group picture. All right, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Professor. Thank you, Angeline ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Uh, Before I everybody exists, thank you everyone for joining here today. We expect that you show the same enthusiasm in the further events also, just as you have shown today and also in the previous events that have taken place under SPCA. We promise to come up with many more knowledge sharing sessions in the future. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and also make sure that you follow us on our Instagram page to never miss any updates. That's all for today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thanks for joining.